Everybody here, Fight Show Live, episode 6, back on the interwebs. Special guest this week, guy just starting his MMA journey, Riley Cadis down there at the bottom. As always, with me,
How's
my
it going?
co-host, referee Bill Bookwalter, to my right. What's going on, Bill?
Nothing much. Interesting little week in combat sports we had there, huh?
A lackluster week, but like so little yet so much at the same time.
Hey, but yeah, like you said, so little but so much. Don't forget, we just had a guy that had no professional boxing fights go in, and some people were saying that he beat Tyson Fury.
Somebody already stopped in to see Riley Cadis. The kid's been here for 10 seconds. Hasn't had a fight yet. Taking over the show. You want to hear? I'll pass the mouse off to you, bro, and you can roll with it. No. So I wanted to start this week. Actually, you brought it up. So like, I was just on it and just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do a reverse ref rant and just bitch about all the good shit.
Go ahead, do it.
But like, PFL deserves it's general consensus across the board. Francis won on paper. He lost. It is what it is. He won in every other way, and sometimes that matters more. PFL deserves all the credit. They gave him the freedom. They invested in him. They've partnered with him. His manager was speaking this week about how it's they're like partnering with the Saudis and PFL, and everybody's kind of co-mingling together. But Wilder,
they took a gamble.
We could end up seeing a Wilder mixed rule fight.
Yeah,
they're talking. Which one kick to the chicken legs in that boxer's in a real. Let's discuss this, but there's no need to discuss it actually.
Yeah, they took a gamble and it paid off, man.
Don Davis, president of PFL, was on Helwani this week, and he said that Nate's got a $10 to $15 million offer to fight Jake in MMA, but Nate hasn't agreed to it yet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, which if you fight for the PFL, you're not going back to the UFC. And as much as Nate said, it's a love-hate relationship with Nate and the UFC.
Yeah, you know what? The UFC, they're doing a different thing than PFL is trying to do. I hate to say,
here's what it is. They're sticking to the old standard. Like 2023 rules to MMA promoting I don't think fly the way you're used to. I'm used to the world we came up in, because you have now an entity. Like Francis Ngannou was a Saudi location was Saudi Arabia. It was sanctioned by the British Boxing Committee. Like, this is a whole nother animal. This isn't just it wasn't a boxing event, which the production values. You've been to big shows. I've been to big shows. Maybe not the biggest, maybe not like Vegas Fight Night, Madison Square. We've been to big shows. We've seen the production. We've seen what they put into it. It's amplified with the ESPN deal. The production value on these things is both Misfits and this card. The production value is insane. And I'm not talking sitting through 15 shows and 15 intermissions, and it's like 26 Super Bowl halftime shows and 45 minutes for this guy to walk. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the production itself, the moving pieces, the amount of money. Like, that was insane.
It was interesting to watch. It's there was basically a concert before Ngannou and Fury walked out, and then they're coming out with the king crowns and like all kinds of it was fun. I enjoyed watching it. They definitely opened the door, like you were saying. PFL, they took a gamble. If Fury would have went out there and knocked Ngannou out in the round, would have been a disaster. Absolute financial disaster. The fact that he did so well now opens the door. Now people are saying, hey, I want to see what would happen if person X fought person X, after the Dylan Dennis, and I will backtrack a couple weeks. I'll give Dylan Dennis credit. He showed up. He got in there. Like I was bitching about the 1 week. He did what he was supposed to do. He embarrassed himself, but he got in there. Now, like you said, the UFC is kind of structured the way that we've always, seen it kind of more mainstream. Now PFL seems like they're kind of getting into these gimmick fights, and then they just bought out Bellator. Is that correct? So it's interesting. They got to have a long-term plan.
Here's Don Davis said Monday there was no deal in place. Tuesday I saw stuff trickling. It depends on the source. I mean, even the best sources get it wrong.
There's got to be something.
Like, I dig and I know people when I have conversations. I'm not like clout chase. Like same way people and you'll message me and you'll hit me with like, oh, this and this. Same way Molas used to text me in the middle of a pay-per-view and be like, hey, just heard this. This is going on. Like just conversations with people. And I haven't been able to pry a thing at anybody. So I don't. And again, I'm nowhere as near as connected as, like Eric Cowell or My MMA News or anything like that.
Well, here's the thing. If it was complete nonsense, wouldn't Scott Coker have come out and said, hey, this is absolute garbage? That's not going on at all.
At this point, what is Scott Coker besides going to stand there and run a press conference? Like, Scott Coker is a promoter, but what's he like? The people that own you aren't
that's true.
Broadcasting your sport anymore. Scott Coker should probably just toe the line, face forward, shut up, and just yes sir, no sir. Because I don't know.
Maybe
the game's this is game changing in a way that people don't like the old school hardcore UFC people are like, what the fuck? It's all bullshit. It's fake. No, it's not. It's literally, as Don Davis said the other day on Helwani, he's not trying to. He's got it right first, because the first thing he's going to say is he's not trying to compete with the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be like kind of co-industry leaders. So this is kind of like I feel like it's branching off. I feel like this type of shit is going to end up having a lane somewhere between UFC, which is the standard, and World Wrestling Entertainment, World Wrestling, WWE, which is also the standard for sports entertainment. And I think there's going to kind of be this center lane where like BKFC takes up some of the room, and it doesn't have to be neat packaged and in a box. It's just it's just new and exciting, and dump the oil money into it. I mean, shit, like what?
Well, my thing is with the UFC, we have the structure as we've always had before, where a guy is fighting a guy to advance and get closer to a title fight. Where the PFL has kind of created this thing right now, where we just want to see who would win in a fight between Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. Where do you go? No matter who wins, what does it really mean? You're not really going anywhere with it. We just get to find out who would win in a fight between these two guys. It doesn't really set up. There's no structure to it.
When the WSOF, when PFL was formed, WSOF faded out. They brought Ray Sefo over. I'm like, okay, cool. Ray Sefo, good businessman. Plenty of time in the game. Like, I was excited. And then they tried to explain the point system, and it's like fucking toilet paper math. I don't understand how I don't like, our friend Micah fought in there. Like, I'll watch it. Micah fought in the PFL. Horcher fought in the PFL. Like, PA fighters, guys in the East Coast, guys we're familiar with that we've both interacted with, worked with sometimes. But like, I'll watch it. But as a fan,
we are in a transitional phase in combat sports right now, where the different stuff is happening other than what we're used to. I'm like I said, I'm enjoying watching the fights. I'm not clamoring for it, but I'll watch Jake Paul fight Nate Diaz. I just want to see what happens. Be some crazy shit. What if Jake Paul were to get in there and beat the hell out of Nate Diaz? Nate Diaz is like a 41, 42-year-old man. Then you got these. Then you'll have these YouTuber guys thinking that they're world beaters. It's like, I don't know. It should be fun. It should be fun to watch.
We'll bring the kid in on this one, Riley. What do you're just at this point. You've just started your journey, so you're green. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I started my journey. Bill started his journey only slightly before mine, but. Few years probably a decade or so.
Listen, I remember watching pay-per-views. The sport was really just starting to take off. Riley told me he was 23 earlier. He's definitely got a different perspective on what's going on than you or I do. I'm a crusty old dude, man. I've been in the game for 20 years. I'd love to hear a fresh take on like, what are people his age talking about?
Have you ever watched PFL?
I have not.
As a fan, like, you consider yourself pretty more than like you're a fan of the sport. Like, you're a fan enough to where you wanted to go try it. Like,
right.
So
yeah. I mean, basically all my life.
Is it the lack of names? Somebody who's complete, and I don't mean no disrespect. Somebody who's green to the whole space. Jesus Christ, this kid. That's for you too, bud. Go ahead.
KSI versus Riley. Fuck it.
I'll take him.
Hey, Riley.
No, kid's taking over the show. Kid's taking over the whole show. Bill, I might be out. Might be you and him next week, bud.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Riley, you want to be a millionaire overnight? Fight KSI. Fuck it.
Yeah. Just here's what you got to do: act like a dork, get on YouTube, play some video games, get a big following,
Yeah.
then call him out. No,
Yeah, the game
no.
is
What
definitely
like
different.
like you tuned into UFC? Why? Because UFC's the staple. Like what? Like why? What? How did? Explain your journey, how you got where you when you first saw UFC to now. Like I know it's just kind of give us the short one, not to put you on the spot.
When I first saw UFC, I was still like in Taekwondo, so I kind of like correlated,
Yeah.
like basically street fighting and Taekwondo, and so my main guy was George St. Pierre. He was my all-time favorite, and it's just I kind of took a break with like the fighting, and then got into like school sports like football and all that stuff. And I didn't really feel a connection with the teams and everything. It kind of felt like a clique. But just recently, I just like you guys were saying, I got it. I got back into it, and I don't know. I feel like there's more fans, especially from like a Conor McGregor fan base, and
Yeah. Well, I mean, and here's the deal. We talked about this the other week, the accessibility of the sport. You played multiple sports.
yeah,
The ability for you to sit here at 23 years old and say, I want to play football. I love football. I love the sport. I watch every Sunday. I watch every Thursday. I watch whatever freaking night of the week they have games now. I think there's probably just as many game nights as there is fight nights now, but if so more. Like you can't, what can you do? You can go to a local, semi-pro league if you can make it. You could like that, and that's about it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? We live close enough. We can go down. We can catch like the Ravens training camp, stuff like that. Like there's so many chances you can do that you're limited to do this. But you as a martial artist, also having that sport in your background, like found a gym, started training, train good enough, make sure, I don't know who this guy is, but if this one's going for Bill.
I mean, yeah. I get that.
Do you know who the fuck you're talking to? That's the Mannheim Strangler, okay? If you were here right now, he'd show you. No, Bill is quite handsome. He's got the Mr. Clean look down.
Hey,
he actually knew what.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Brett, our buddy Brett. Apparently, all those days on the judging table, Bill decided he was just staring at your ass the whole time. Wasn't watching the face. He's Mike Bell in it.
Yeah, there was a time.
My brother came out in Valet Tudo shorts for the first time, and I was like, "No, you can't. You have to go. Like, go put some fight shorts back on." No, I mean that's cool. I mean, it's generally a concept where like we have the most access of any sport. Like I said, there's not the gym, and this is not why, but like just the gym up the road. There's a UFC vet that trains at the gym right up the road. Like that guy was big on the regional scene. The guy that runs that gym. You came up in Blackman MMA. I got my belt test through the Blackman Network through Wayland, like my blue belt. Sorry, I got my blue belt through the Blackman MMA. Whoever certified his system, but like you went through Blackman MMA. Now Blackman's known more for like WWE stuff, but he was right in Harrisburg. He's still doing the thing. But yeah, the access is there for anybody that wants to try it. You just got to get off the couch and white belt's the hardest belt to earn, I think. That's the old saying, anyways.
Okay, so just Riley has he has ambitions of competing at some point. Is that correct or no?
All right, all right. So I don't know who's more popular tonight, guys. Either Bill's ass or
this show got
Bill's
weird.
ass or the Young Buck.
Make it weird.
Next week, guys, I'm not even going to be here. It's just going to be a picture of Bill's ass, and then Riley's going to run the whole show. That's the whole thing next week.
No, I want to hear about Riley. What's your long-term plans? Where do you want to go with any of this? What do you want to do?
I see my thing. I like to dream very big, and I try to stick with my dream. So I want to make it to the UFC one day.
All right. How are you going to get there? What are you going to do?
Well, Tuesday hell, Garrett, it was like nothing.
I'm sorry. Sunday used to be the Lord's Day. Now it belongs to Bill's Cheeks. Brent, look, I'm getting ready to send Brent a link and just bring him in live and just let him just rip on you for like 15 minutes. Just because this is
Hey, I'll
great.
tell you what,
I can't.
Brent would be a great guest, man. Brent's a brilliant combat sports mind. He's a lot of experience, a lot of UFCs. I've had a lot of, even with this talk, I'll admit, I've had years of car rides alone with him for hours at a time to events.
I talked to him in a message and told him, hey, thanks for stopping and supporting the show and stuff. And, you know, Brent's always been one to chime in and support anything I'm doing MMA related. So I appreciate that. But, which the only reason I met him was because of you. But, you know, Brent said, hey, it reminds me of car rides with Bill. And that's what we want it to be about.
We got some fun stories about car rides.
Your cheeks have taken Sunday by storm. Apparently, sorry, I can't. Every time one comes up, I want to add it. I can't help it. Fuck it. We got nothing else to talk about. Francis almost KO'd Fury, and that's it. Derek Lewis got arrested for doing 150 miles an hour in his Lamborghini. And then when the police report came out, it said he had hair. He's like, that wasn't me. I don't have hair. Like, this is it in MMA and combat sports this week. This is it.
Yeah.
No, I think I can tell you from experience that having like-minded people around you and make sure you're not in an echo chamber, and I think you'll be all right. Like I said, Pops has a good head on his shoulders. I don't know you for shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I barely know you, but I know you're dead, so I know.
This week.
Just you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, he's starting his journey out, and like I tell my kid, I got teenage kids, man. I'm like, if you just listen to the shit I say, it'll probably save you some trouble here in like the next 10 or so. That's
right.
You see somebody trying to do it, you just want them to do it, man. It's what it is.
Well, my advice to Riley would be, you know, there's a lot of promoters out there that have really good reputations. Get with somebody. It's going to give you, you know, as you progress, you be honest with your experience. You know, the internet is everywhere now. You get yourself a fair fight. You know, I came from a day where a promoter would have 22 fights on a card because a lot of fights were going to be over in 30 seconds because it was some guy who was extremely skilled versus some guy who saw it on TV once and decided he wanted to try it. You know, things don't work that way anymore. So you get yourself a good promoter. He's going to want to put you in a fair fight. He's not going to put you against, you know, he's going to match you based on your experience, based on your skill level. He's not just drawing names out of a hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so.
You think how much you think the landscape is going to change? Because I'd say it's a fair estimate. He's probably gonna, which this brings a point up too. Me and him were talking about something the other day, and I'll get to that. I'll sidetrack to that, but chances are he's probably going to do his debut in PA. One would assume, unless his coach says otherwise. That's not my decision to make. But do you think how much slack you think? And I know the guy that's taking over for Greg is a good dude, but how much slack do you think? I think there's going to be a little bit?
Guy.
Yeah.
There's going to be a learning curve. You know, Ed Kunkel is the guy. I cannot say enough good stuff about Ed Kunkel. He's one of the best guys in the game that you've ever. I mean, he's a really, really fair. You know, it's a really good move. We definitely did not take a step back here in Pennsylvania with Ed Kunkel. He has a lot of experience in New York. He worked under Greg for years before he went out to take a role in New York. And now this job is opened up here. Ed took over, and I expect Ed to be there for 10, 15, 20 years. You know, Ed's a real good guy. It's going to take him just a little bit to learn the fighters and stuff, but the guy, he knows what he's doing. And if he has a question on anything, you know, I'm sure Greg will still be in touch with Ed as sort of a mentor and stuff like that. Ed will make sure that the fights stay fair. Like I said, we definitely we didn't lose any ground here in Pennsylvania. You know, I got nothing but the best things to say about Ed Kunkel.
Yeah, you're coming in at a good time, actually, Riley. Greg served probably my arch nemesis. No, Greg cared about fighters.
He did.
My gripe with Greg is you never had to worry about the safety of your show, but you had to worry about the safety of your show due to I've seen him cancel cards the day before. Like I've seen him tell a fighter that He's uglier than he is in his ID picture. Just like the stuff if you're expecting these, and this is where I'm at with it. Like, it's all fun and games. We all bust balls. If you want to have a busting balls type of atmosphere, then create a atmosphere, create a jovial atmosphere. Don't create an atmosphere where you are holding these guys at the strictest level of professional standards, even as amateurs, and then you want to sit there and throw chops and comment on somebody's girlfriend standing in the background or comment on somebody's ID. That was my gripe with Greg. Like, don't.
I will say this. I will say this, and Brent could chime in if he wants to. You never knew which Greg you were going to get. You know, you kind of stayed out of his way till you saw if he was joking around that night or if somebody had ticked him the hell off, and it was better just to be 50 feet away from him at all times. You know,
and here's the deal with that: the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission, the guy that oversees, as Bill brought it up before the previous episode, every professional fighter, professional boxer, professional wrestler, and you laugh at that, but like, there's a lot of independent wrestling shows that come through. Boxing, MMA, kickboxing. It was just boxing, MMA, kickboxing, professional wrestling. What else did they handle?
Oh my gosh, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. Yeah, it was all. Oh my God, managers, coaches, corners, promoters.
Well, yeah, anybody that's you got to be licensed as a manager. You got to be licensed as a promoter. God. So when I just say the different facets of what he had to deal with, you know, you got 20 guys on a show. Everybody's got a manager. Everybody's got coaches. Everybody's got this. Promoters got this. And sure, like, the guy had an immense amount of stuff to deal with. And the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission, and I don't know how others are, but I'm sure others are the same way, was self-funded. So which means if they generated, and they get a portion of ticket sales and all kinds of intricacies, but if they generated, you know, if their budget's $500,000 a year, then they need to make sure they generate $500,000 worth of funds a year to cover their budget.
I'll tell you what about the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. If you were looking forward to seeing Greg all week and you said hi to him on Saturday and he snapped or was just short with you or said something, he might have just been dealing with somebody suing the athletic commission earlier that day. He might have been dealing with the medical board. He might have listen, the characters and personalities that Greg dealt with day to day are some are the greatest people you ever meet. Professional, prompt. Greg dealt with some of the biggest morons you will ever meet on this planet, and it could really. I won't say the guy's name, but there was a funny story. There was an amateur fighter one time towards the Scranton area, and he asked Greg, and this is no lie. I know it's going to sound like you're going to be like, oh, nobody's that stupid. He called Greg and he asked him, how do I get my medicals and my money order to you for my license? Greg was like, well, you put it in the mailbox. Right. So the kid, he had the money order, I guess, addressed to the athletic commission. He literally went and dropped his check and application in one of those blue mailboxes. He didn't put it in an envelope. He didn't put a stamp on it. Oh I swear to God, you're like, oh, nobody's that stupid. This is the type of crap that Greg dealt with on a daily basis. It's like, and then all of a sudden you get to see him on Saturday night. You're like, Mr. Serb, how are you doing? And he's like, don't talk to me. Get away from me.
Yeah, so I can just, and we had this conversation the other day, and we were just kind of talking stuff, and I was just swapping stories with you. Like, you worry about training, but always, you were a Marine. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it, Bill. Thank you for your service as always. But we act like you're superior. You act like the commission. If you show up on fight night, you show up to weigh-ins the day before, you just act like commanding officers there dealing with you, and you're back in the Marines and you're dealing with a commanding officer, and you, from your first fight to your 15th fight, act as a consummate professional.
Yeah.
And your coach will handle a lot of it, and as you start to learn it more, a little bit more of the responsibility will come yours, but you act as a consummate professional no matter what.
I'll tell you what, the guy that you're going to be dealing with in Pennsylvania from now on, he is very consistent. You know what to expect. He's going to match your energy at all times. He's Ed's a great dude, man. I like Ed. Pennsylvania definitely is moving in the right direction. We didn't take a step back. You know, Ed Kunkel's one of the best guys. I hope he sticks around for a long time.
Because if you're a prima donna, I'm going to tell you right this. If you're a prima donna and you show up, even if you're surrounded, and I'm not saying where you're at that you're going to be surrounded by that mindset, but if you act like a prima donna at one show in Philly, and then you act like a prima donna at another show in Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
By the time that your name gets pulled out of a hat to go to a show in Pittsburgh and get the opportunity to fight for a title, whatever the situation may be, there's going to be apprehension there because everybody talks. Everybody knows. The horror stories get swapped.
Mm-hmm.
So if you show up from day one and act like a consummate professional and handle yourself like a professional athlete, even though you're an amateur athlete, you will have no problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I'm just curious. Riley, where do you live?
I live in Hanover.
Okay. So you probably do a local show here, someplace close to your home so your family and friends can come watch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the guy. I'll inbox you. I'll inbox you real fair. I'll shout him out.
Awesome.
Art of War, a guy named Mike Bicking. He'll match you up real fair.
Oh yeah.
Put you on a local show here. Mike Bicking, he's a good dude. You know what I mean? He's
Art of War. We love Art of War. That's like to me that's like our, like, we claim CFFC on the regional scene. Mike Bicking is slowly and surely sending people through to that next level. And he's just, the show over there is good. The production's good. Like I would be happy if you called me and said, hey, I got a fight and it's going to be at Art of War.
I'll tell you what.
Shout out Mike Bicking, Art of War.
He's thrown a lot of shows in York, Lancaster, Lebanon. I think he's actually moving into the casinos down there now. It used to be the Sands. I think it's the Wynn Casino now or something in Bethlehem and stuff. Mike's starting to throw some shows at the casino venues and stuff too. So, like I said, I'll get with you offline. I'll toss you a couple of promoters' names. They'll match you up fair.
Here, well, and with, like I said, with who he's going to be end up going through. That guy's been through the gauntlet, and at the end of the day, you got to listen to your coaches. But, that's about finding the right feel. You want to be somewheres where you can tell your coach what you're thinking, and your coach can give you. If your coach doesn't agree with that, then he'll give you a valid reason why he doesn't agree with it, and it's on a whole nother level. But this is the side thing I want to talk to. Me and him were talking about this. What do you recommend? Do you recommend driving 3 hours and fighting in another state and having nobody there and selling tickets and just getting on the card for your first one to just to get that edge off, get the first one out of the way?
No, I do not.
Or do you take the local show and fill up the fucking arena with all your people?
Bring your people. Bring your people. No. Local. Bring your people. Anything. Here's my advice to you, Riley. When people have this idea that they're going to train as an amateur, and when they feel they're like at an Anderson Silva level, they're going to then I'll have my first fight. No, you're not going to know shit. My first fight was a combat in the cage, Etsu. I thought I knew what I was doing. You get in there for your first fight. I didn't know what the hell I was doing at all. Like, everything is so different once you get in there. You know what I mean? And listen, Pennsylvania, especially for your first few fights, we have some of the safest rules that you're going to find anywhere. It might not be the most, you can't strike to the head on the ground. You can still get hit hard standing up and stuff like that. But my advice for you would be, train yourself up to where you think you want to be. Get yourself a fair fight. The internet is your friend. You can find out exactly who you're getting matched up against. Fight often. If you're injury free, you should be fighting 3-4 times a year. You're an amateur. Wins, losses don't matter. It sucks when you get beat in front of your families and friends, but I mean, you gain experience from it every time. Fight. You're saying you want to get to the UFC. You're saying that's your goal. You need to fight often. You know what I mean? You need to fight if you can, injury free. You need to fight 4 or 5 times a year. Record, dude, you could be 6-12. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Your pro debut is, you're 0-0. It doesn't even freaking matter.
Oh, okay.
So, I wish if I had a mentor. We didn't know what we were doing back in 2007, 2008. Pennsylvania was brand new to mixed martial arts. They were just trying to fill up cards. Anybody that would show up and willing to fight, it was, they were willing to put it on. It's a different game now. It's more structured. It's better. You're going to get fair fights. But I don't know how long you've been training, but hopefully if you would decide to do whatever you're going to do, it should be within a year. You don't need more than 9 months to a year's worth of training if you're getting a fair opponent. Now, if they're putting you in there against a Division I national wrestling champion, you could train for the next 5 years, and it's probably not going to go too well. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, get in there, train your skills, come up with a game plan for a fight, get a fair opponent, and get the heck in there, man. like you said, you're saying your goal is the UFC in 5 years. Come up with
Right.
a plan. Come up with a plan tomorrow to figure out, okay, how am I going to get here? You're not going to get there just throwing hands on some mitts in the gym. You actually got to get that cage time, and fight people who are better than you. I fought guys that went to Bellator, the UFC, Strikeforce, and they were better than me. And I can tell you right now, I could have spent what Gert was talking about earlier in the show. I could have spent years in the gym, and I would not have caught where these guys were. He was talking about when I went down to Dada's fight camp in Philadelphia. I heard there was a guy training down there. His name was Carl Psycho Amasu, and it's like, all right, man, let me see where my skills stack up. They didn't. What I mean? That was, and I was already 33 or 34 at the time, and that was like, all right, man, it's probably time to. I was taking time away from my family, my friends, my daughters. If I could have made something of it and thought I could have been competitive on a higher level, I would have pursued it. There was stuff that I saw after years. You're only 23. I was 31 when I had my first fight, amateur fight.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. 31 to 34 is where you're wrapping your professional career up. That's where you're making your last title run in the UFC. You got time. I didn't have time. I didn't start till I was later. Now I had a wrestling background and stuff, but as far as getting in the cage, you said you're training at your gym. Come up with a realistic game plan to have your first fight. Decide how many times a year you want to fight. Like I said, as long as you're injury free. Like I said, the names I've heard Garrett drop on me. You're training with some guys that have some experience. It's not a couple guys training in their garage. Taping
Upstate
pillows.
New York MMA. Shout out guys training in their garage. All 6 of them. Anyway,
No. Duct taping a pillow to a load bearing post in their garage.
I got kick pads, bro. We're good. I got some stuff for you. No, I think to echo kind of what Bill said. You got good people around you. As long as you got an understanding with your gym that, like, I want to make the decisions I want to make. You have to progress at your skill level. Not everybody that has 8 months of training is going to sit there and say, okay, you got to fill your gaps. You got to tell your coach, I want to do this. And some coaches will be hesitant. Some coaches will, you just have to find the right fit. And if you find the right fit, and I wouldn't say to re-examine your mindset on it, because we talked about this too. I wouldn't sit here and say I want to be in the UFC in 5 years. I would say I want to have my pro card in 2, which means if you have your pro card, just for shits and giggles, best case scenario, you have your pro card in 2. You say I want to be pro in 2.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, it's like you're saying.
You want to be realistically. If you're 0-8. You're not going to, what I'm saying? Like you have to adjust, that has to adjust accordingly. Right, so if you end up being 8-0 as an amateur, if fight 4 times a year, then that's a 2-year short-term goal. Like just different strokes for different folks, and every case is case by case dependent. You're going to have to, clearly, when you get into guys like Bo Nickel and we lost Bill. When you get into guys like, oh, there he is. You get into guys like Bo Nickel and stuff like that, it's a whole different, because they're at a different level starting off. So when you're starting off from a different level, you or me or Bill are not stepping in there with Tyson Fury and having the people sit there and talk about, he didn't have a boxing match. Well, he's fought he was a world champion. So he'll be back. No, I think just setting goals, figuring out where you want to be. Yeah. And just doing, you got a good support network around you. Good people. Me and Bill fuck with you. I'm not gonna let you make no stupid moves. Just on the strength of me and your dad's relationship. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't let you. I'd have to say something. He might come back. If not, it's just me and you. Fuck it. Bill's ass has left the building. Everybody, for all those.
I guess I won.
Concerned. The young buck won. Bill's ass has left the building. He might come back. He might not. He hasn't messaged me yet, so it shouldn't be any issues. But no, and he's back, guys.
I just found out.
At least one. I told him at least once a show. At least once a show. Hey, while Bill's back, guys.
If somebody tries to call me, apparently it knocks me out of the feed. So.
Real quick, guys. Bill's sporting the Pull No Punches apparel, proud partner of FightShow. Sponsor of the Ref Rant. Not your left tit, the logo. There you go. Pulling up Bunches Apparel.
There we go.
Website's down at the bottom. We got some exciting stuff coming with them this month. What else, Bill? What's up, man?
Nothing much. Like I said, interesting little week in combat sports we had. Apparently, we're gonna start getting some. I don't want to call them gimmick fights, but I guess they are gimmick fights. We're gonna get our. We got some good cards coming up. I'm excited for the Brazil card coming up this weekend. From now to the end of the year, we have some really, really killer fights, man. Really, really good shit.
Yeah, actually, I want to
like
see
Super Bowl fights. Listen,
see what
UFC 300 is coming up.
We'll do a little look ahead here.
Listen, next 6 or 7 months, UFC 300 is coming up, man. Especially with what's going on in the combat sports world right now, Dana White is going to come out with a killer card. I mean, the thing is going to be just the most ridiculous fight card you've ever seen.
The time of no fights is almost over. The 4th, we got one coming up. 11th, the 18th. This card. Look, we're just going to jump in here real quick because I posted this to my fucking social.
Okay.
Have you seen this card? Top to bottom. Well, I'm just, hold on. Let's, first of all, how the fuck is Clay Guida still alive, let alone still fighting in the UFC? That guy's older than you.
He's such an awesome
I'm just
guy,
going to go I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom here.
I did not get the referee Clay Guida, but when I did UFC Norfolk down there for Benavidez versus Figueiredo, Clay Guida, I forget who he caught, but we got to party with him in the hotel lobby room, man. What a good dude. He's just like you think. He's literally just like you and I, man. He's like you think he would. He's like you think he would be.
Was that when you hung out and partied with Ric Flair too?
No. That was his own special night. I was all Ric Flair's.
Rick, we're gonna get Rick to tell us the Ric Flair story one day. I've been waiting to hear it. I've only saw it in pictures. No, real quick, top to bottom on this card. I know we stay out of prelims a lot. Dan Hardy's wife, who in her own right is blazing her own path. She's doing good shit. I mean, this is December 2nd, so the day before my birthday. Jared Gooden.
Okay.
I've heard of his name before. Again, this is the prelims for the prelims. Joe Selecki, Drakkar Klose is on the prelims.
That's a good fight.
Cody Brundage is on the prelims. Misha Tate is on the prelims. Clay Guida rounds out the prelims. And then you get into just Khalil Roundtree. I've seen Dustin Stoltzfus fight before. Sean Brady, of course, you know who we're pulling for in that fight versus Gastelum. That's going to be a good fight.
Yep.
Rob Font versus Figwood Davison.
Yep.
Dan Hooker versus Bobby Green. You keep going with it.
That's a burner. No, Green versus Hooker. That bell's going to ring. That bell's going to ring. They're going to come out. There's going to be no wrestling. They're going to throw in each other, and it's the first one to drop, or it's going to go 3 rounds. That's a good fight. That's a real good fight.
Dan Hooker, City Kickboxing.
Bobby Green is a little bit older. If he wants to make a run at a title, like this is it. He's got a little steam behind him now. That Grant Dawson win, that was a good win, man.
They just added the China card in December. I don't even know how that's stacking up. Let's look at that too while we're here. I don't know.
Nope,
okay. So yeah, we're barely announced there. Just of course you got. Can Leon pull it off? We'll see. That takes us to the middle.
Listen, like I said, I never want to turn this into a gambling show. Okay, I don't. But the odds on Covington, Leon Edwards right now, it's about even money, no matter what side you pick. Let me ask you something. Who would you pick in that fight? And just let me pick your brain. Who would you pick in that fight?
I hate doing this because
I know who's gonna win. It's so clear.
Did you get the script? You got the script, huh?
I wrote the script.
That's why he wants.
Here's the deal. Anybody that can pull it out of the fire the way. Look, I've watched a lot of shows and I've talked to people that have commentated. I've sat there while people have commentated.
Mm-hmm.
When you are fucking with somebody in that cage, it's really hard to stay. For me, anyways, I can't do it. It's really hard to stay unbiased. But they were writing his obituary, and he pulled one of the most spectacular pull it out of the fire highlight reel knockouts that I've ever seen in my life, in the history of the sport. And it's not, the kick itself. It wasn't that spectacular. Like to see Luke Rockhold knock somebody out with a question mark kick is definitely like clearly more spectacular. But just the fact that everything he's been through, Leon's genuinely a good dude. Colby, for all intents and purposes, is genuinely a good dude, and he just felt like he needed this persona.
That's not
like
a question.
The Colby. I don't know if you know this, Riley, but this is like kind of common knowledge, and I've only met him once and spoken to him one time. And it was when he switched to persona, so I can't speak on it. But the Colby Covington you see on the internet, the Colby Covington you see on TV,
it's WWE.
It's not Colby.
It's WWE.
It is a WWE character that he was on the verge of getting cut, and he is not that dude. And like I said, I spoke with him prior to the transformation, but he's I don't know. Part of me wants to see him get it, but
he was on the verge of being cut. And he was told it didn't even matter if he won his next fight in UFC. They didn't like what was going on with him. So he won this fight in Brazil. He got on the mic and called Brazil a dump. And he started this verbal attack on Brazilian fighters. And then he started trending on Twitter. Well, then you have to keep that character. Whatever you said, nobody was interested in you fight. And he can fight. He can fight. That's not a question. He can fight. He's not bad. But he did this character, and then they re-signed him. Well, now you have to keep doing the character. Mm-hmm. So, but Gary, I'm going to give you a little back to my question. Okay, Colby Covington has beat. He basically beat Robbie Lawler, who doesn't really have any wrestling. Robbie Lawler and it was by decision, by dragging Robbie down and grinding him out, and then he beat Jorge Masvidal by dragging him down and grounding him out. Okay. Leon Edwards is an active fighter that has he beat Kamaru Usman twice. He now has the title. He's been active at the top level. Colby Covington, my God, when was the last time he fought? Oh my God, it must have been Usman in 2020 or 2019. It's been a while, right? I mean, he hasn't fought in a long time.
Masvidal in 22.
Oh, okay. Was it early 22? Like January, February, March, something like that?
Yeah, Masvidal in 22, yep.
Okay. Leon Edwards, Colby Covington's only way to win is to drag Leon down. And Colby Covington really isn't a finisher. He's not. He'll outwork you. He'll grind you. If he can lay on top of Leon Edwards for 5 rounds and do some punches and make it look like the Masvidal fight, Colby Covington will probably win. Leon Edwards is not going to make that happen. Leon Edwards is sharp right now. Like I said, Usman, he might not be as good of a wrestler as Covington, but he tried to get that fight to the ground a couple times. Not even a chance. I saw a video on social the other day of Leon Edwards kicking these pads, and like Leon Edwards is going to light Colby Covington up. He's probably going to finish him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's one of them things where like I want to see Leon keep his belt. I want to see Colby win a title, but I don't want to see Colby win a title off Leon. It's
one of them. Colby is great. He's just not quite great enough to be a champion. He's going to be one of those guys we've seen before. He's always going to come close. And listen, all due respect, he's a Joseph Benavidez. He's always going to come close to winning a title, but he's never going to quite get it done.
I mean, even this card just rolling down through from top to bottom. That's a great fight.
Pantoja is awesome. Wait.
Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Thompson is probably the one I'm looking most forward to on this card.
I'll give you a hot take here. Rakhmonov is better than Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev is just better on the mic.
Yeah.
Rakhmonov's the shit.
Yeah, no, I've been watching him for the last, I think, seven or 8 fights coming through. Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett, which is, I don't know what's going on there. It's like UFC's throwing Tony a bone, I guess. I don't know.
You know what? I don't have a good read on that fight. I really don't, because Pimblett, I thought he got beat by Jared Gordon, from Jersey. Tony Ferguson has a lot of experience that Pimblett doesn't have, and I could see if Ferguson were to win that fight against Pimblett, I could see him retiring in the cage, and that would be a nice send off for Tony, because he's not going to make another run at the title. You know,
No.
The UFC does not want Tony Ferguson to win. They want to pump Paddy Pimblett because he's
he's a rising star. And they got their handful of European, perfect example, Ian Machado Gary. This week, actually, I don't know if you've seen it. He was training at a Renegade. He was trained. Well, he's a journeyman. He's around. He's taking it all in, going all over, travels with his wife and his kid. Like, his journey is kind of actually awesome to follow. He was training at a Renegade with Leon. Leon and his coach told him he can't train there no more this week. So I don't know if it's
Ian Gary kicks the shit out of Vicente Luque, by the way. That's if you want another DraftKings, Ian Gary beats the hell out of Vicente Luque.
I don't know why we don't have the odds for that up here yet. Josh Emmett coming back again. He's been around, man. He's been around forever.
Another guy, a great fighter, just not quite good enough to get there.
Dustin Jacoby cracked the top 15. I didn't even realize that. And then it goes down from there. But yeah, the top half of that card's great. Cody Garbrandt, Brian Kelleher.
Oh my gosh, Cody's still fighting. Holy cow.
Yeah, Cody Garbrandt, Brian Kelleher.
Kelleher's a PA fighter too. He's fought here a bunch of times.
Well, no, he's like New York, Long Island, but yeah, he's our little pocket right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many. He came through. What the fuck is that one in Jersey?
One of my old teammates submitted Brian.
Ring of Combat.
Yeah, one of my old teammates, Jeff, the submission technician Smith, submitted Brian Kelleher. Jeff was one of those guys that was he's one of the best fighters I've ever trained with. He just never got a shot at the UFC, So what's one of the other what's that card look like coming up that has Prohaska and Alex Pereira on it? Something was that was a pretty decent card too. I like that one. Man, we got so many good fights coming up.
Dude, the next month and a half is stacked. Mm-hmm. Tom Aspinall is going to win this fight. I don't know if anybody.
Again, that is an even money fight, no matter which way you go. Pavlovich has a chance to come out, storm him, and catch him, but Tom's a really smart guy, really sharp everywhere. I saw Alistair Overeem take Sergey Pavlovich down and beat the crap out of him. If Tom Aspinall is smart, which he is, he's not going to stand and try and trade with Pavlovich until he gets hurt and then try and shoot for some desperation takedown. Pavlovich is a one-trick pony. Aspinall is a future champ. Once John Jones decides he's none, or you know what? I'll be honest with you. There's not a bigger fight Dana White could make in the heavyweight division other than if Aspinall wins. Aspinall versus John Jones. Aspinall actually has the skills as a heavyweight to keep up with John Jones. He can stand, he can grapple, that's a great fight.
You mentioned Overeem. He just retired. He's done, he said.
Okay. I missed that.
Does that mean anything anymore? But he retired. I was actually watching Rico. We don't do a lot of kickboxing, but I really try and I respect the art form. Rico Verhoeven's coming back to glory.
Really?
Aspinall actually, he fights December. Sometime in early December, he's back. He had a knee injury, or he fought in glory. Fought another place, had a knee injury, took a year off. He's back. I had the notes. I had my show notes here.
Listen, that guy's a legend, but I thought he was done.
20 fight win streak, 2 E's away from glory with a knee injury. Tom Aspinall was just training with him.
Okay,
so that's exciting.
He's still around. No, I know Rico Verhoeven. I've seen his glory fights. I know that guy's a legend. I just didn't know he was still. I thought he's done.
Yeah, no, he's just been away. He did one fight, like I said, a year ago in some other promotion. Felder's back in the training pool. Or the USADA pool, rather. Felder's back. Eric Nixack jumped on and said, Eric Nixack's coach of the year, by the way. Eric Nixack was just the one talking about, I guess the plan is for Felder to train out in Philly and then do his camps out at Extreme Couture in Vegas.
I'll tell you what, I hate the Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson fight. The fight was Matt Frivola versus Paddy Pimblett and Paul Felder versus Tony Ferguson. That was the way to go. That to me, that was the fair fight. Their UFC is feeding Tony Ferguson to Paddy Pimblett, hoping to like they want Paddy Pimblett to win that fight. You know, they
Well,
can
they know he don't have much left. They're going to get him. He's going to pay his show up. He's always done. That's one person that's going to go out on their not one person, another person going to go out on their sword. Probably like you said in the cage.
Yep.
That they has always had a great relationship with the company.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now I'm pulling for Paul. Listen, I refereed Paul's last fight against Mark Stevens before he got called up to the UFC. I did a lot of years with Paul on CFFC. Great guy, man. Paul's such a good dude. Listen, you and I have talked on this show before. It is very hard to winning the crowd is everything in the UFC. If the crowd wants to see you fight, doesn't matter if they love you or hate you, they want to see you fight. If they want to see you get your ass beat, they still want to see you fight. It is so easy to get the crowd. Conor McGregor, Colby Covington. It's so easy to get the crowd to hate you. As a dickhead, it's insanely tough to get respected as a good, respectable guy. Paul Felder is one of those guys. Paul Felder, George St. Pierre. Dude, he's such a class act. And I wish Paul Felder, dude, I wish I could see a little WWE out of Paul Felder. I want to see some shit talking. I want to see some but that's just not him. He's the best guy, man. No, it's not. I wish it was.
He is definitely been the same person.
Well, listen. You've seen him on the mic, commentating and stuff, which is a good gig for him. Do you understand? Paul Felder could do the Chael Sonnen thing. Chael Sonnen's a great dude, man. Another guy that runs charity wrestling camps for kids in Oregon, and Chael Sonnen's a great dude. He's one of the best shit talkers in the game ever. One of the best promo guys you could ever stick a microphone in front of. It would be fun to see Paul Felder switch it up, but he won't. Paul Felder's got good mic skills. He could do some stuff, but people would be like, they would take him by. They'd be like, what's that? Paul don't talk shit. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see who the heck UFC. He's not just entering the testing pool just to see what happens. He's got
according to Paul Felder. Here's the deal. According to Paul Felder,
he's got to fight.
If the right one comes along. But at this point, if you're the UFC,
mm-hmm.
you would think that
if you're the UFC, if you're Dana White, I'm talking. If Garrett is Dana White, the stories in the media that Paul Felder entered back into the testing pool, right? It's your job to make a fight. He's like, if the right person comes along, blah 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 blah, find the right person. That's a great fight to open up a pay-per-view card. Paul Felder versus whoever, maybe a young up-and-comer, or, what I mean? Where a young up-and-comer where a loss isn't going to kill his career, but a win is going to propel him towards the next fight. It's Dana White's job to find Paul Felder a fight. Don't just, the story that Paul Felder re-entered the testing pool and Dana White never got him a fight, that's boring. That sucks. Paul, like I said, if you're Dana White, your job is to find him a fight.
Well, he's taking a little time off. He's a little bit older. Where do you think he comes back at? Because first of all, nobody has a weight class anymore. We've all, you know what I'm saying? Nobody has a weight class. We learned that the other week. Nobody has a weight class.
What? You know how good a guy Paul Felder is? This is what I think of Paul Felder. This is how good a guy he is. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor versus Paul Felder. Who doesn't want to see Paul Felder just kick the shit out of Conor McGregor? You got the
at 170. No.
Yeah. No, why not? Yeah. Why not? You have the let Paul Felder and Conor McGregor focus on training, not a weight cut. I don't want to see them at 155. Once you get older, it gets a little harder to drop that weight. Paul Felder is such a good dude that he's probably going to get a payday that's going to set him up for, the rest of his life. It's a fair freaking fight. People hear the name Conor McGregor, they don't realize how long it's been since that guy. I think the last guy he beat was Nate Diaz, and that was God, that had to be 4 or 5 years ago. That was a long ass time. They're both strikers. Neither one's going to try and wrestle fuck each other, so the fans are going to get entertained. Paul wins. Conor's back. It's a fair fight. There's a lot of hype between it, and like I said, I think Paul Felder is a real good guy, man. He deserves that money fight. The Chandler McGregor fight. I mean, are you still
Oh,
interested?
Chris Blancato chopping in. Felder doesn't have the chin for McGregor. Well, first of all, Paul Felder, sir, is Pennsylvania MMA royalty, and we
Hold on,
love Paul
whoa.
Felder.
No, let's get into this, Chris.
No, it's all in fun. Chris is a good dude. Chris is a good dude.
No. I know. Let's get into this, man. I mean, maybe 8 years ago, Felder didn't have the chin for McGregor. Who the hell's McGregor hit besides an 80-year-old guy in a bar? You know,
He don't have to hit it like Chris just said. He got that shoulder, just
No,
a little
that's
bit
fair.
of that.
No,
No, he said, remember what he did to Cowboy off a layoff. Not a good matchup.
dude, they're both pushing 40 years old. They're on the backside of 35. You know what I mean? It's
Well, hold on. Chris Blancato, comment below if you're still in the stream. Comment how long have you been watching Paul Felder fight? Because I can agree that wars take some time off of you. But how, like, when I say we're fans of Paul Felder and we've been watching, I was watching Paul Felder on the regional scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I have a deep rooted love for Pennsylvania fighters. We support everybody in this state. We're just
listen. Even the win over Cerrone. What was that? I don't have the info in front of me. What was man? That had to be 2017, 2016. 2018.
the shoulder
maybe?
strikes against Cerrone. Hold on,
That was years ago.
I'll get you a date on it.
You don't understand. Listen, Felder is the consummate professional. Every event I see, McGregor is drinking a bottle of whiskey at an event. He's partying. He's on the Lamborghini. He's on the yacht. You know, I think the ship has kind of sailed on the McGregor Chandler fight. I don't even really want to see that so much anymore. You know.
I mean, if you let it go long enough, everybody will forget about it. Or 2020 was the McGregor Cerrone fight. I don't know why I couldn't remember that.
Yeah, me
January of 20, beginning of 2020.
I don't think Conor McGregor's that same guy, man. You know, I really don't.
Yeah, I don't.
He's not. It's been years. This is a hard game to stay sharp in. You know. I don't know what else you can't. And you know what? I'm not the matchmaking genius and the product genius that Dana White is. I don't think you can throw Conor McGregor back into the title mix, can you? My God, he hasn't had a win in like
no, you can't.
Years.
You can't.
You know, he's not like one of these guys that's on an active 4 or 5 fight, 6 fight win streak over the last year and a half. 2 years.
You can argue. Let's take Conor McGregor. So you got to take the name out of it. Let's take someone who has a great relationship with the company.
Okay.
Someone who puts asses in seats. Who the injury like that. Again, take the McGregor name out of it. Put anybody in that big fight situation and have that injury. How is the UFC going to you always come through. We always ask you to come through. Shows up, does what he needs to do, puts asses in seats. So from promoter, all the boxes are checked. What do you? I mean, where does he go besides? It made sense 6 months ago when they were hosting Tough, right? You know, however long Tough ended, but it made sense. Like it did make sense. It was a draw. I'd like to see that fight.
Well, I'll tell you what. The thing that gets me, and you know what, this past weekend opened my eyes to it. The Fury and Ngannou thing. You're like, oh man, he can't hang with that guy. Yes, he can. That's why they matched the fight. That's why they booked the fight.
First of all, while you're on that was a money grab by Fury. He underestimated it. He took the Usyk fight. Francis is just on a hustler's path. You know, Chatri, free agency. He couldn't come to a deal with the UFC. He wanted to invest in himself, which is what he wanted to do. He wanted seat on boards and he wanted to insert himself in the business a little bit more. They couldn't come together with a deal, Dana and Hunter. Chatri put out a public post and got ahead of it and said he just wanted too much. The narrative was the same. David Feldman, we can't give him what he wants.
Yeah, the promoter still make money.
He just wanted what he wanted, and now PFL Africa. And again, all this is contingent on PFL growing at the rate that they're going to grow. Everybody forgets that the UFC was bought for $2 million and went $11 million in debt before they really took off. And now 30 years later, they're at the pinnacle. So Don Davis
UFC,
and the
UFC was one night away from shutting down. They were ready to shut down the next day before they got the Spike deal for the Ultimate Fighter.
Davis and the PFL are in that bleed money phase. you know, let's look at Saudi Arabia. They didn't make money. You know what I'm saying? You think Eminem just jumped on his private jet and flew out to Riyadh? You think Kanye's in the building? You
I
know,
didn't even think about that.
Cristiano
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
they were probably paid to be there.
They paid for the production. They paid somebody. Estimates are 10 to 20 million for Ngannou. I don't see it. Chael and Ariel got in a big argument on the show about it. I don't see 10 to 20. I see more than he made. You know, I was watching again Markel Martin, who's his manager, watching an interview with him. Nobody's talking numbers. Nobody's going to know what the pay-per-view did. I guarantee you more people illegally streamed it than they did buy it, but people watched it.
That's always my go-to comment in the comments of like if somebody puts up a bullshit fight, I'm like, I'm not even going to steal this. Yeah.
I didn't even pay for that shit. And I wanted my money back. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a robbery. Dana was sitting there dressed as a fucking Turk and was the third judge. No, Islam. Hold on, Dakota Shirley.
No, my God, but that's listen, as this Dakota. Oh my God, you have to have an entertaining fight. Islam would take McGregor down unless you hit Islam up in the background and be like, listen, don't submit this guy right away. Take him down and beat the hell out of him. Let him survive for a little while and then finish him. That's such an uncompetitive fight at this point. You know, Islam versus McGregor. I mean, yeah, no, I see where he's going with it because all of the thing that happened in the cage with Khabib. But my God, that fight's going to be over in 30 seconds. Yeah, no, Islam absolutely dog walks McGregor. My God, that fight's over in 30 seconds. Can you imagine? Now that flies in the face what I was saying. You fight the fight for a reason. But could you imagine if they make some bullshit fight between Islam Makhachev and McGregor, and Islam whips him down in 30 seconds and chokes him out?
How are you going to wrestle a bear wrestler that's been wrestling bears since childhood? You know what? You can't. Black belt or no.
My God, that's your main event for a pay-per-view card, and it's done in 30 seconds, just the way everybody thought it would go. That's not good business, man. You know, it's you need a competitive fight where each guy has a chance to win. You know.
But even like competitiveness, back to what we said about we were going in with Francis, everybody was wrong. You know, everybody.
Dude,
Eddie Hearn. I was wrong. I said, look, you need to go in there and you need to windmill like when you fought Rosenstruck, and you need to just push. No, Francis went in there, composed, and started. You seen him. He started to kind of scramble, but then he brought himself back. He stayed composed after the knockdown. Definitely a little bit more. I would have liked to just see him kick him in his fucking head. Other than that, like, you know.
Francis has God-given talents that you cannot teach in a gym. You cannot oh yeah, that's not a bad one, Chris. Sorry,
I like that one. We got Chris here for a reason.
That's not a bad one. I think Holloway, and you're talking Holloway versus McGregor. Oh yeah. No, I think Max Holloway smokes Conor McGregor at this point. You know, at this point in his life, you know. Yeah, that's a good one. Holloway McGregor's a good one. Good point, Chris. But yeah, that's the thing is, what were we talking about? We were talking about the Fury,
everything.
Yeah,
bear wrestlers and
yeah, all
your
kinds
ass.
Of we are
just everything.
My ass. We are in a fun time in combat sports right now, and I can be honest with you, I have no. This is like the NFL taking their Super Bowl champ and saying, "Hey, we're going to go play rugby against the world champion rugby team." Like, I don't know what to make of what's going on in combat sports right now. That's why we have the promoters. I'll tell you what. Like I said, Fury Ngannou. Had Fury gone out there and smoked Ngannou, all this shit would have been dead. The fact that Ngannou performed the way he did, now we have the door open up. It's going to be a very, very interesting 2024, man.
I'm not even a boxing fan, and the thought of Deontay Wilder putting on 4-ounce gloves and slanging and fucking banging with the baddest man on the planet excites me. I mean, if you remember, have you ever seen Boone Chew?
No.
You know who John Wayne Parr is? I don't know if he pioneered. He had a lot to do with the movement of it, but Boone Chew was like Muay Thai I might be butchering it, but I'm pretty sure it was Muay Thai with 4-ounce MMA gloves in a cage.
That's like that Lethway shit over in
Kind of.
If you've ever, we'll visit that another show. Yeah, no, dude. I'm gonna watch it because I don't think for a second Ngannou would try and wrestle Deontay Wilder. I saw a picture of them next to each other today. Holy shit, Francis Ngannou is way bigger than Deontay Wilder. I mean, like a lot. You'll
And
see
if
it
it's
when you look
not
on the
mixed
internet.
rules, well, Deontay Wilder's, as of right now, from what I heard on Monday, Deontay Wilder has already begun the process, started the process. He's in an MMA gym training. Just maybe is something else to do because he sees the option. I mean, think about how smart that would be for Deontay Wilder. The first boxer to come over and try it. Like, win or lose, that you plant your flag with it. And honestly, if Deontay Wilder, the athlete that he is, can get 6 months to a year of jiu-jitsu and MMA striking in, and kind of,
I'll tell you what, Deontay Wilder has a really good chance. That guy throws bombs. I mean, fucking bombs. Put 4-ounce gloves on him. I don't think Francis Ngannou is going to try and wrestle him. I mean, I think if Ngannou tried to take him down, the crowd would start booing immediately. Like, that's not what they want to see.
I think if it's not a mixed rules fight, that he needs to spend like the last 4 weeks of camp doing calf raises because he's got chicken legs, and one kick from Ngannou he's gonna be like that guy that rides around on the skateboard that has no legs that you just see him on the internet all the time. That guy, yeah. Deontay Wilder will be a paraplegic if Francis Ngannou kicks his legs.
It could happen. Oh yeah. They might do the fight, the mixed rules. They might do it with no kicks. We're in for a fun 2024, Garrett.
There's so much to do, and there's so it's insane.
I enjoy being a fan at this point in my life. It's good. I'm fine with it.
It is insane.
I like talking about it. I like posting about it. I like gambling on it.
I'll go to bring this back up. We've been in. Shout out to UFC.com for being super user friendly. This is Saturday. We'll go down Brazilian.
Parlay.
Guy that looks like he should be Brazilian. We'll do the Brazilian parlay. I wonder how much that pays.
Parlay. The Russian parlay the other week was killer. The Russian parlay was killer. Like every one of them won.
Yeah. No, Mako. Was it Makamedo? Wait, what the fuck was his name? The one that need Walker.
Ankalaev. Magomed
Ankalaev. I don't know why I said Magomedo. Sorry, I got confused.
No, that was his first name. No, that's his first name. His first name's Magomed.
See? Or it could be his last. There's a V at the end of it. We know where he's from.
Yeah, those are some badass fighters, man.
Yeah, no, it's a different game up there, man. It's literally like if every other sport in wrestling. We'll just go with America. If every other sport in America tried to fight, and then they had to fight a wrestler, that's it. Like that's. I mean, if you look at the concept of like Francis Ngannou, people are talking about no boxing match. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury was like the Michael Jordan Bulls versus the Patriots and Tom Brady, but they were using football rules. It's
this is wild times, man. We're in a different evolution of combat.
The fact that I just said Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. It's like I said, it's got its own lane. It has its own lane. Do I think every UFC fighter can do what Francis Ngannou did and say fuck the establishment? I'm betting on myself, double down, and do what he did? No. Do I think Sean O'Malley can do it? No. Sean O'Malley should just stay like Sean Strickland. Stay where the fuck he's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
You come to a contract breach and you've kind of, you're not holding the championship and something, not a contract breach, but the end of your contract, don't.
I'll tell you what, we're going to look back at this. Do you remember looking back to Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin, how it changed the game and really took the sport off? The other week, you kind of witnessed a turning point in combat sports. I'm not going to say MMA. You witnessed a turning point in combat sports. Had Ngannou gone out there and gotten smoked in like a minute or two, everybody would have just gone back to their own lanes and stuff would have gone the way that we've always known. The fact that he did well a guy that has never had a professional boxing match, arguably won a fight against the lineal heavyweight champion. Man, the door is open for all kinds of shit now. There's no rules anymore. Anybody can do anything they want. Jake Paul can fight Nate Diaz. Usyk can fight Wilder. Wilder can fight Francis. Like, there's no rules. You know what I mean? It's just like we're in a pivotal point. You just don't realize it till 20 years from now that, holy shit, I watched a very pivotal point in combat sports, you know?
It's the evolution of something that's 30 years old. That we being a little bit older have already watched it evolve multiple times. Like we stated the other week in the show, like, for this kid right here, if he says he wants to be in the UFC, it's not, he better get good at everything. Like extremely well at everything.
Yeah.
Hey, Riley,
And he better figure what's coming next and figure out some of that too, because you're not fighting martial. It's not the Taekwondo guy fighting the Jiu-Jitsu guy. It's not the 400-pound sumo wrestler fighting the 100. It's not. It's
we were there
high-performing athletes
Yeah.
at the highest of levels.
Yeah, Riley,
their sport of choice happens to be martial arts.
Riley, I came from a day where you could take a guy down and lay on him for 15 minutes and you won the fight. Like, you could put on the most boring performance ever and be successful. The game has changed. It's not the way it is. You know, yeah, I'm looking forward. Like, the future's bright. I'm not upset that Saturday night with Fury and Ngannou went the way it did. It's fun. This is entertainment. That's why we watch. It's entertainment.
Yeah,
we watch for the press conferences. We watch for the fights. You know, win the crowd, be fun. Riley, I don't know if this is you or not, but figure out your character. Figure out who you're going to be, where you're going to go, what you're going to say. Are you going to be a respectful guy? Are you going to be a complete dick? You know, you figure out your path. You know, Conor McGregor had his first amateur fight somewhere, some point at some time. You know, you get to do that too. You know, it's coming up. You hit me up, dude. I'll buy tickets. My girl and I'll go. You know,
speaking of, do you remember at the McGregor Aldo press conference? And this is like a little fun fact. The McGregor Aldo press conference, there was a young ass kid who asked Dana for an advance or something like that. Do you remember him? He was on his dad's shoulders and he had the mic and he was talking all this shit and Conor was loving it. He's like, Dana, I'm going to be the next champion. Give me 50 G's and this kid, fast forward however many years ago that was, this kid's debuting in the PFL at the next PFL show, PFL Europe.
Which is cool. I remember that. No, I remember that.
Yeah. No, you can, look, just like everything else in life, man, you can be humble, but sometimes you just got to let a motherfucker know.
Yeah.
It's a sport. You're going to get in another cage with another grown man, and that door is going to lock, and you're not going to stop till somebody pulls him off of you. And that's the end of the day. And it's business. And at the end of the day, much like you see on TV, much like you see, you have the opportunity to shake his hand, show good sportsmanship, and even you've now formed a bond.
Right.
And it's something I'll tell you now, and you're going to, like, leading up to it, there's things you do, and there's things I recommend, like your first fight, get in there and walk the cage, feel comfortable with the cage, bounce off the cage, count your steps off, figure out your point. Like, you'll understand all this the further you get into your training, but you have the choice. Like, this is your path and how you carve it.
Yeah. Hey, Riley, I'll tell you what, when I was fighting, I was always respectful. I shout out my opponents. If one of my first opponents, he was a major in the Marines, and I told the crowd to give it up for him, blah, 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 blah. I was such a good guy. Be a dick. It's so much more, it would be so much more fun. My God, if I could run it back. I would, I would hang out with special needs kids. I would volunteer at the SPCA. You know, I was handing out Halloween candy to kids the other night. I'll help anybody do anything. If I could redevelop a character back when I first started fighting, be a dick. Oh my God, that would be so much fun. I did the good guy route. Just be a complete jackass. Like,
you can do both, bro.
It's so much easier to be hated.
John Jones is proof positive that you can have a Bible verse tattooed on your chest.
Right.
Still screw up like a normal human being, still not be perfect, but always let a motherfucker know.
Yeah.
Listen, you're going to win some fights, you're going to lose some fights, but if you're just a complete dick, you get hot chicks. You get like, it's so much fun. And the girls are like, "Oh, you don't know him the way I know him." Just have fun with this whole fucking thing, man.
That's the important part, man. As long as you're having fun, you gotta have. I told you,
I didn't have enough fun with it, Garrett. I didn't have enough fun with it. You know, I could have created a whole character.
My journey's different. My journey, you know, 3 fights scheduled, 1 card canceled, 2 fights canceled because of injury, and found the business side of things and the management, the promoting, and just was fascinated with the behind the scenes stuff, and just, you know, running. We were down there in Virginia. That was the largest pro promotion in Virginia regionally. You know what I'm saying? So like, just I've never not. I told him before he got in the stream before you did. There isn't a day since I've started watching an MMA fight. There isn't a day since I walked into an MMA gym, walked into an event center, that I have not had fun with this. And had I, you know, went the whole way, fought, you know, jiu-jitsu tournaments, it's always been fun.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Garrett. I was the nicest. I tried to be the nicest guy. I'm friends with everybody that I fought. They're all my friends. I still talk to them time from time because that's who I am, man. That is really who I am. If I could run it back, oh man, I would have created a character. That shit would have been a lot of fun. So, but Riley, I'll tell you what, man. Whenever you have your first fight, man, you know, if that's the route you decide to go with, shit, please hit me up, man. I'll go, guaranteed. Yeah, 2 tickets already, commission off that. I'll come check you out. I'm invested now. You know, I know. Awesome. You know, I know you are. I've conversated with you, shared a laugh with you, man. I'll come check you out. You know.
Yeah.
So me and him did have that conversation the other day. We're like, do you want to take one local? I mean, there's a time and place for local. When the promoter says, hey, you get X amount of percentage off tickets, there's a time and place to put 200, 300 asses in seats. You know what I'm saying? There's a time and place for that. But me personally, my plan was to fight as far away from home as possible, just because I don't like this whole in front of we talked about this today. Like, this whole in front of the camera thing is not, I'm a behind the scenes guy. You know, I stood in the cage in front of hundreds of people and grabbed mics and strapped belts on people and done the whole front of the house thing. And even still, like, sitting here talking to you guys, it's like, I forget it's just a conversation, but I couldn't wrap my head around everybody I know. There's a 50-50 chance I'm going to get the shit knocked out of me. I don't know if I want, it's already going to live on the internet forever. I don't know if I want my people having a visual representation of that.
Riley, when you win your first fight, I want you to get on the mic after the fight, and I want you to let everybody in that crowd know there's not a man in the state of Pennsylvania who has the balls to stand and bang with you, and there's not a person out there that could beat you. And that's just the way it is, and if you don't like it, it's fucking tough.
Yeah.
And your name could be in the middle of that. Riley Tough Luck Caddish. Be like, yeah, you trying to fight me, you got knocked out in front of your family and friends, your girl, your kids, your mom, your dad. Tough luck.
I think you're building my character right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's, like I said, you could do the nice guy. It's not.
That sucks. That's boring. I want to see that shit.
You can do the nice guy. I'm a firm believer. He's a nice kid. You know what I'm saying? His parents are nice people. Like, I don't see him looking over and seeing his mom. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I love his parents, but I don't look and see his mom sitting like front row of the crowd. He's like, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Come see me. I heard this guy's talking and that guy's. I don't see. Like, I just don't.
You're laughing, dude. A lot of fans are going to come to your second fight and go, man, I hope this guy gets knocked the fuck out. I can't stand that.
Right.
I mean, we talked about building a brand, and we talked about there's just some things you don't have to worry about as an amateur, but at the end of the day, 2023 nowadays,
yeah,
the difference in you fading off into relative regional obscurity and you maybe possibly getting a call up, you might be good enough to get there, but the right eyes aren't on you yet.
Right.
But that one hot mic take, I had a friend of mine who, shout out to Tevin Dice. This is infamous. You can look it up on the internet. He's fighting this weekend. He was my flyweight champ at CFFC. I strapped a belt around this guy's shoulders. I've watched his journey. I fucking absolutely love this kid. He's a stand-up dude. He changed his whole life and moved out to New Mexico and started training at Jackson Wink. Like, just a good kid. He's fighting this weekend. He was in Alaska after they legalized and jumped on the mic and literally went viral for talking about where's the weed at? Like, because it's legal up there. He's a weed smoker. He's a weed smoker. Where's the weed at? What's up? And I'm paraphrasing it, but it was hilarious. You can look it up. Tevin Dice, Alaska, fight speech. It made the rounds on the internet. So shout out to Tev.
Yeah, there
He's
you
fighting
go.
on Fight Pass this weekend for Fury.
Here we go. Riley, karma's coming for you, Kadish.
Karma's
Just
coming.
karma.
Like it.
Just karma. Just keep
Be
just
like,
karma.
Oh, just get on the mic and be like, hey, remember that to whoever I fight next? Remember that shitty thing you did to that person? Karma's coming for you.
Yeah, karma's coming. I saw you talk shit about your
yeah.
opponent's wife, and that didn't sit
Yeah.
well with me, so I'm
Karma's
coming to knock
coming
you
for
out.
you.
Karma's coming.
Dude, that's so good, man. I'd be like, I can't wait to see this kid fight next. You know? Have fun with this shit. That's so much easier. Like I said, and whatever.
Like
journey,
I'm not the most religious, and I'm not, and don't take this the wrong way. It's all fun. Like I'm not the most religious person in the world. I'm definitely spiritual. I know I'm blessed. I know, but to see these guys get in the cage and try and rip another man's head off for 25 minutes, and I understand all glory to God. Thank God for the journey, and He's put you in this position. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure somewhere's in the Bible it says something about violence. Like it's kind of confusing. You got some eye for an eye shit in there. Like it just gets a little confusing. But right. The first thing they do after Terrence, you viciously knock some dude out. Like you watch his soul leave
I'll tell
his
you
body.
What. I will, honest as I can be. Riley, you give me your first fight date whenever it's supposed to happen. I'll buy 2 tickets off you. I will sponsor you. I'll give you $200 cash if your nickname Riley. Karma's coming for you, Kadish.
No. Just for the first sponsorship. Sponsored by Bill Bookwalter's ass.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm already in, man. Karma's coming for you. I like it.
You could. Here's what we'll do. We'll just, how they have the interpreter. We'll get everybody thinking he doesn't speak English. He'll just do this and act like he's whispering in your ear, and Bill's just gonna be like, Riley said he's gonna knock you the fuck out. He doesn't. This isn't his game. He's gonna knock you out.
That'd be perfect.
I like it, man.
That would be perfect.
Riley, come in. How do you pronounce your last name? Kadish or Kadish?
Kadish. Yeah.
Kadish. Riley, karma's coming for you, Kadish. I like it, man. Karma's coming for you.
I think we got to shorten it. I'm telling. We're gonna work on this in the production.
Okay. We'll work it out. We'll work out.
Well, Riley's name will be the subject of pre-production meetings next week. We'll have it on the whiteboard.
Or Karma. How about just Riley Karma Kadish?
You know what? It's only fitting. It's only fitting if you're sponsoring him that he has your name across his ass. So it could be the second. It could be the second most famous ass in Pennsylvania MMA. Apparently,
the second most. I like it.
Be like that groundhog. Oh man, so much yet so little. Like I've never had this much of a fuckery involved conversation where we actually haven't discussed anything.
Oh, we're just shooting the shit, man. I've already missed kickoff on. I forget who the hell I bet on tonight. Who the hell is even playing tonight, man? It's there's some football game on tonight.
It's blasphemy, is what it is. Fucking football.
Yeah. It's 2 shitbag teams. I don't even know.
Steelers.
Steelers. That's right. I bet on it because the MMA's not on. Total.
Chris is back. It's coming up here in a minute. I don't know where it is. We're lagging. Chris is back. He said he likes tough luck. So we got to vote for Riley Tough Luck Kadish. It's not coming up. There it is.
Listen, Riley, my favorite fighters ever are the Diaz brothers. When I fought, I was the nicest, most respectful guy. But I wish I could have been the Diaz brothers. I wish I could have been that. Oh yeah, dude. I wish I could have found that headspace that they were in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish, dude, it would have. Dude, they are loved because
they don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're loved because they don't give a shit. And even if they do give a shit, they're not going to let you know they give a shit. They just don't give a shit.
Coming out for the 3rd round, flicking like Cowboy Cerrone. He's loved. Nate Diaz is coming out 3rd round. He's just like, letting him know, fuck you. I don't care if I.
Riley's going to play the good guy. He's going to hit him with the prayer hands in between rounds.
I'm just going to bless the shit out of people.
Just bless. He'll start like talking shit in the middle of the fight, but it'll be in Latin. He'll be like saying a prayer. No, just fucking, dude. We love you, Riley. It's all good, bro. You'll figure it out as you go. Just don't, like I said, you can go whatever out you want. Just be humble, but let a motherfucker know. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, man, dude. Picture this, man. Nate and Nick Diaz are multi-millionaires just because they talk some shit to people. Right. They lost so many fights.
Conor McGregor is a gazillionaire because he talks good shit. Like, there's something to be said about it.
Yeah, it's so much easier too. You know what I mean? But anyway, all right, Riley, you hit me up. We have tickets to your fight, man. I promise I'll be there. I'll put in a personal day vacation at work. I promise you I'll be there. It doesn't matter what.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll make the trip out for the young lads.
Yeah, Garrett,
We'll
come the fuck on out, man. Let's go. I'll invite Brent. He can stare at my ass. It'll be good, man.
Mike Bickings, Art of War Cage Fighting. If you're checking in on this, we're just gonna talk his ass into kid. I don't even know if he's even ready, but when he's ready, he's gonna put some asses in seats. Art of War.
Mike throws a good show, man.
No, definitely. I think just like I said, there's a few. I don't mean to insult anybody when I say this and like landscape, but there's not. You got shows like Stellar Fights in Delaware. You got, you know, that are really trying to do a lot to help showcase these amateurs, and it's all dependent on the commission. It's how much they can do, but you know, just the amount of people that would come through from Art of War, like, and then you get to like literally backyard, you get to a CFFC. Like, there's a natural progression, I would say, in PA. And it's not, I mean, you can literally, unless you luck out and get a contract, which, I mean, it's happened, but whatever. But a lot of these smaller shows, it's one-offs, but you can make your way through, man, and blaze a path. There's 24/7, Ryan Middleton out in Philly. His show's really growing. Like I said, Brad down in Delaware, Stellar Fights is growing. Art of War. Maverick's still doing it.
I'll tell you what, Riley, no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, we go have drinks at the bar afterwards, man. We light it up, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
You're going to have fun.
It's going to be good shit.
At the end of the day, you're going to have fun. You just,
there's
a lot of build up. And it's stupid little stuff. Just make sure you take time to appreciate. It's like stop and smell the roses, because you're only going to get one first. You're only going to get that edge of excitement one time. You're still going to get that fight night feeling. From first to whether that means you're backstage throwing up or whatever, man. Like, there's guys at the top tier of the sport that are.
I'll tell you what,
Riley.
My last fight, I didn't do well. I didn't know that it was my last fight. I didn't know it was my last training camp. I didn't know it was my last time I was ever going to have teammates back with me, man. You live for what it is. You have fun with it, man. Like, you don't realize that it's going to be over with it, you know. And you're just starting out, man. You're 23. I'm 46. You know, you're just starting out. Have fun with this shit, dude. I love seeing younger fighters have shit, man. This is whatever you want it to be, dude. You know, if you want to go out there and be some George St. Pierre, most respectful shit ever, that's cool. Conor McGregor.
Even George got on the mic and had a hot take every once in a while. It was in broken English, and you couldn't really make it. It probably would have delivered better if it was in English, but George had some hot takes on the mic.
It's so cool that you're just starting out, man. Like, you get to do whatever you want with this. You get to ride with it however long you want. You write your own book, you know. You get to decide who you are. You get to decide when you fight. You get to decide when you stop, you know, and it will be over one day, no matter who the hell you are, you know. And you get to reminisce and be like, you'll be out drinking with your buddies one day at the bar and be like, hey, remember when you were like this? You'd be like, yeah, that's some wild shit, man. That was good. Now I'm looking forward to it, man. That first night we're coming out, man, I'll pay for your tab the whole night, man. Let's go have a good time, man. I want to see you fight.
Oh, man.
Bro, you ain't even booked the fight yet. You got 3 tickets sold, probably 4 because my old lady will come. You got 4 tickets sold, and your bar tab's covered. So worst case scenario, if you get your ass beat, no harm, no foul. You got that first one out of the way. You're getting hammered tonight. And
and I said,
Jimmy.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. Riley, try me Kadish. I like it, man. You get to be whoever you want. And I'll you let me know when your first fight camp is. I'll take care of your supplements, your protein, your creatine, your whatever the hell you take. I got you, man. All right.
Bro, look at this. Bill Bookwalter's ass is sponsoring you your first day out the gate. Look at this shit, bro.
Oh, wait. Oh, hold on, Gary. Hold on.
Thank God he froze. Okay, no. Pull no punches, apparel.
I got pull no punches apparel. Paying it forward, man. Paying it forward.
Hold on here, Riley. Again, the number one most talked about topic on this episode besides Bill's ass.
Look
Riley's
at that, man.
debut
Look,
fight.
you got people coming from out of state, man. Look, you're already a star.
Oh,
Be a dickhead. Be a dickhead, Riley. Be an absolute jackass.
I think your old lady's gonna get a top fan badge, bro, because she's either a top fan of this show or she's definitely a top fan of that ass. So
I will say publicly, I do not deserve that chick. She's like, she's on some other. She puts up with a lot of bullshit, man. Like a lot of bullshit. So shout out to Kristen.
Yeah, no, Doug Griffin says make yourself some merch. We're gonna make sure you get some. I think, not to make this sound any less than it is, he's gonna blaze his own path as coach. He's gonna listen to his coaches, but I feel like definitely Riley needs to understand that you got two people right here that, on the strength of my relationship with your pops, and on the strength of my relationship with your pops, Bill, and me have a relationship that goes back over a decade. You got two people in your corner anytime you got questions, day or night, bro. You know that, man. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna live vicariously through you.
Fuck it. Hey Riley, shoot or shoot, man. Fucking shoot or shoot. Take your shot.
Shoot your shot, man.
Whatever you think you want to do with this MMA career, shoot your shot, man. Okay. Win or lose, we have drinks afterwards.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. I love it.
He's gonna sign the back of your pants. We're gonna get him all hammered up. And he's just gonna like sign your ass.
It's gonna be great.
Make sure you're wearing khakis that night. It's great.
It's gonna be a great night, man.
Somebody blows up, we can sell it on eBay. No, Bill's khakis.
And listen, when you win your first fight, oh my god, we're all going. Dude, that makes the drinks that much better, man. It makes it's an experience, dude, and not a lot of people get to have this. Like 0.01% of the population get to do this. You know, people talk that shit. They say what they're gonna do. They blah blah blah. Very few people actually get in that cage or ring and do this shit. I do want to know one thing, and I do gotta hop off, but I want to know a thing. Riley, what's your walkout music, man? What am I gonna hear when they?
Bro, it's like day 3 at the new gym, and you're like, "What's your walkout music?" You ain't even figured this out yet.
No, I want to hear it because I'm already gonna be pre-gaming, man. I'm gonna be ready to go when you walk out. Like, I just want to know, man, what's your walkout music? Let me know who I'm dealing with right here. He didn't even think about it yet. He didn't even think about it.
I mean, all day I've been listening to walkout songs in a way. I'm getting myself hyped up.
Yeah.
And my dad and I were just talking about this today, actually. Like, I have this one song I showed Dad. It's by NF.
Okay.
Don't play it. We'll get a copyright strike. Don't play any music. They can deal with my cursing on the internet, but I don't know if we'll get past a copyright strike.
I think it's called "Careful" by NF.
Okay. I'll tell you what, dude. I was down in Glasgow Drive down in Delaware, and I remember my first amateur fight, and that music hit. There's never a more real feeling in this world. You're like, holy shit, this is going down, man.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And Riley, I got my ass beat. I got my ass beat in front of my mom, my dad, my brothers. You know what? I ended up winning 3 titles. I ended up winning professional fights, and I ended up in an octagon standing next to Joe Rogan and fucking Bruce Buffer.
Wow.
With Dana White standing cage side. You don't know where this shit's going to take you.
That's my favorite clip from a show. That's my favorite clip from a show that I have to track it down. I haven't been able to clip it up yet because I've been so busy, but literally the first time he said it, and again, like, Bill's been around my journey in the sport almost the whole time, from fan to fighter or training to employee to whatever. And he says, I just one day decided I wanted to start fighting, and it's kind of like I blinked, and then I'm standing in an octagon between Joe Rogan and Bruce Buffer reffing at the big time.
Yeah.
So fucking, that was a crazy journey, man. Life has its own path for you, man. I look forward to watching it, dude. I like paying it forward. I like seeing the next generation take their moves, you know?
Yeah.
Wherever you fight, whenever it is, I promise you I'll be there, all right?
We got a few housekeeping notes, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here. As soon as this comes up, we'll see. Here we go. So, housekeeping notes here. As soon as we're lagging, so as soon as this pops up on the screen, I'll start my little spiel here. But we've partnered with, as you guys already know if you've watched the show before, Pull No Punches Apparel. So glad to have them partner with us. They back every important message you can do. But for this month, No Shave November, for the entire month of November, Pull No Punches Apparel, partnered sponsor of the Fight Show. $10 from their semicolon design, all tees, tanks, and hoodies will be donated to Movember, which is a great nonprofit in support of men's mental health awareness. Sorry. $10 from every tank tee hoodie with the semicolon design. You have a choice and a chance, spreading the message about men's mental health awareness. So go check them out. PullNoPunchesApparel.com. The website address is at the bottom of the screen. And like I said, we're always proud to work with them. Bill right now is putting his left boob in front of the screen. You can't see it.
Paul Westfall is his name, right? Pull No Punches.
Mark Westfall.
Mark Westfall.
Pull No Punches. Yeah.
He's since moved, but years ago, probably 6 months ago, I could have walked to his house in 35 seconds. The guy was right down the road.
Yeah, small world. Yeah, so jump on that, guys. PullNoPunchesApparel.com. Proud sponsor of the Fight Show for the entire month of November. $10 from there. You have a choice, you and a chance. Tees, tanks, and hoodies will be donated to the great nonprofit Movember in support of men's mental health awareness. PullNoPunchesApparel.com. We are proud to have them on board with us. And with that being said, it might lag here a minute. We'll see. But we got a ref rant incoming. We're a little laggy. I don't know what's going on, guys. But ref rant with Bill Bookwalter, sponsored by Pull No Punches Apparel. Again, our weekly insight to what's pissed Bill off in the combat sports world this week. We're laggy, so Bill will be on a solo view here in a minute. Go ahead, take it away, Bill.
I'm good. I'm in a loving mood right now. We ran way past our time just because we were having a good time. But I'm going to get right to it. It's going to be short. It's going to be sweet. This is straight from the message boards. I see everybody in the comments bitching about Dana White and this. This was a good week for combat sports. If you like, dude, we're all here for a certain amount of time on this planet. We're all down to be entertained. This week was this is basically back to, I won't say it's as significant as UFC 1 when the whole world of combat sports fucking changed, but people are bitching, oh, Dana White doesn't do this, Dana White doesn't do that, here's what's wrong with this, here's what's wrong with that. The people who are doing their thing, who promote this shit, who put the money forward, who take the risk, hear what I just said, the people who take the risk. Because, dude, PFL and man, they took a risk. Their whole investment, a lot of their investment, I won't say their whole, a lot of their investment was on Francis Ngannou. And man, he delivered. They gambled on that motherfucker. Hey, they had picture blackjack. They had 16 at the blackjack table, and they said hit, and they hit a 5, and they landed on 21, and the dealer got 18. They won. They won. I did not think Francis Ngannou was going to do that well. I thought Tyson Fury was going to smoke this fool and blah, 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 blah. Dude, we have so many good, entertaining fights coming up because Francis Ngannou did well. My ref rant this week is, I've been reading the comments. People are saying these motherfuckers don't know what they're doing. Hey, sometimes you take a risk, and these motherfuckers, they know what they're doing. And even if they don't, it lands up fucking aces for them, you know? This is a good time for combat sports. From now till the end of the year, we have so many good fights. 2024 is going to be fucking wild. And that's all we're here for, is to be entertained and have some fun for whatever time we're allotted on this planet. And yeah, man, bunch of good fights coming up. I can't wait. I'm entertained. It feels good just to be a fan again, you know? Back to you, man. That's all I got. Oh, and I'm going to see Riley Try Me Kadish fight.
Try me.
Try next 7-8 months, man. I'm pumped. Yeah, listen to him, man. The guy's feeling it, man. Can't wait to hear that.
Like I said, guys, this week's ref rant brought to you by our sponsor and proud partner, Pull No Punches Apparel. Again, guys, super important. This message is something I stand behind. Entire month of November, $10 from there. You have a choice, you have a chance, and a chance. Tea Tanker hoodie will be donated to Movember, again, which is a great nonprofit in support of men's mental health awareness. More info at PullNoPunchesApparel.com. And while you're at it, guys, the weather's getting cold. They've got tanks, tees, hoodies, hats, koozies, you name it. They got something with their logo on it. And since it is cold, guys, buy an extra hoodie and flannel, because your old lady's going to steal your shit anyways. PullNoPunchesApparel.com.
True story.
We're done with that. housekeeping's done, as soon as the lag's over, I'll get these guys back up on the screen. It's been real, guys. We've had fun. That's too much me on the screen. We're just. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Garrett, you going to see Riley fight in his first fight?
Of course, I would.
So am I, man.
Wait, hold on. Is your ass buying my ticket?
I will, of course.
And are you covering the tab?
Of course, I will do that.
And are you making sure I get home safely?
Jesus Christ, have some mercy. But yes.
You can't drink and drive, bud. At least call me a fucking Uber. Come stay the night. We'll have a sleepover.
No. Listen, I have a damn good lady, and yes, she just makes sure good shit happens.
No, so, fuck that. Party at Riley's parents' house after his first fight if he wins. If he wins, party at Riley's parents' house.
My lady Christy, she keeps me from being stupid and doing dumb shit. And it's a full-time job.
Some of the worst things in my life that I've ever done are responsible because I was left unsupervised. So between my wife and her, I think we'll be all right. All right, guys, Fight Show 6. We ran over. It don't matter. Thanks for sticking with us. We've had a great time. Thank you guys for commenting. Again, sponsored by Pool No Punches Apparel, 717 Surplus. Riley, we hope to see you back soon. Everybody that watched that's digging on it, we will hopefully be the news source when Riley drops his news. You'll know where he's fighting. Hopefully here first.
Wait. Riley by KO round 1. I'm calling it right now. No pressure.
Riley.
No pressure.
Right.
I don't know who Zach Lua is, but he just invited himself to the party at your parents' house after you beat some dude and bless him when you're done. So
I got you for your dude. If you walk up to me and you say I'm Zach Lua, I got your first 3 beers.
Zach Lua, if you come to Riley's debut fight after party, the party like the after party, but the party before the after party at his parents' house. Shout out to Keith and his wife. Zach Lua is pulling up to the party, but that pre-party, Bill's now buying you 3 drinks. So wherever you're at, Zach Lua,
absolutely.
Bill, you better work some overtime, bud.
60-hour weeks, like it's my job, dude.
The week before Riley's fight, Bill won't be on the show. We'll just bring Riley in because Bill will be working overtime to cover this fucking bar tab. Fight Show 6, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday at 7. We're out.
All right, bro. See you.
See you guys.
See ya.